If there's one lesson I could hammer home to anybody in online game, it's this. Test some more, tweak, change, test, and test some more. All right, next question we have, and this is coming from Jim, so thank you, Jim. Very simple. It says, should I pay for premium, Tinder Gold, etc.? All right, so the question is, should you pay for Tinder Gold? Is it worth it? Is it a ripoff? Etc. And I do want to say that within the community of guys who are learning and studying game, there is definitely a strong bias towards never paying for anything ever, which I think is a hindrance, right? There are a lot of guys that are like, I never buy a drink for a girl. And I'm like, well, you could have gotten laid for $10 if you just bought a drink for that girl. So congratulations, you kept your integrity and you failed. So there is a strong bias there, and there's definitely a strong bias that, like, if I pay for Tinder Gold or if I pay for the premium on whatever dating site, that I'm supplicating, I'm bending over backwards and being needy for girls. Maybe. There's also this idea that, like, if I pay cover for a club, I'm paying for sex. Maybe, but if that's where the hot girls are and your time's valuable, maybe it's worth it. All right, so the first thing I want to do is I want to disabuse you of this idea that never spending a penny in game is the right way to go. It may feel philosophically good and you feel like morally pure, but you're just not going to get the same results and you're not being as efficient. So get rid of that idea in general. Now, the question, though, is Tinder Gold specifically worth it? In general, probably the more important question is paying for stuff on dating sites generally worth it? And the answer is, of course, it depends, because each and every dating site and each and every thing they're going to pay for are a little bit different. However, in general, is it worth it? Probably. It's probably worth it in most cases. Now, obviously, it's not worth it if it's crazy expensive, right? Like, you could go to the extreme with this and pay like $50,000 for a matchmaker to set you up on dates with a few girls that are like handpicked, whatever, that may or may not like you, may or may not like get along with, and you're out like shit tons of money. And I know some very, very rich guys who have done that. And for some of them, it may have worked. For a lot of them, it didn't. And for some of them, it kind of worked and they got gold digged and it didn't work out, and who knows, right? So there are extremes that I'm not saying you should blindly pay for everything. You certainly should not do that. And you should not pay for super expensive things of that ilk. However, you have to understand how dating sites work. They are businesses, right? They make money somehow. They're not just there for free, right? Sometimes when a dating site's just started and they're trying to get traction and get a user base, they'll start out being relatively free. Tinder started out being free, for example. But over time, they got to make money. They are a business. How do they make money? Well, they make money by people paying for things. So if that's the case, do you think they want to make their paid members happy? Yeah, I'd say they do, right? You have this guy over here who's not paying the bills, this guy over here who's paying the bills. Who do you think they care more about keeping on the site? Probably the guy who's paying the bills. How do they keep him on the site? By giving him good matches, okay? So that's what they're trying to do, is they're trying to keep the people on the site that are most valuable to the site. And who's valuable to the site? Guys who are paying for stuff, girls who are paying for stuff, even more maybe, and then hot girls, basically. And to some tiny extent, hot guys, but not even, because there are plenty of guys out there that the girls are going to be pretty happy overall. There may be some super hot guys that are catering and keeping some hot girls on the site and helping out, but for the most part, you're not going to get that kind of leverage unless you're just like the extreme of the extreme as a guy. So for the most part, they want to keep the paying customers. So what do they do for the paying customers? They do a couple things. Number one, they show you to more people. Number two, they show you to hotter people. Number three, they show hotter people to you. So think of it this way. Think of Tinder, right? If you are an unpaid member versus a paid member is going to be shown more attractive girls, both in terms of more attractive, an individual girl being hotter, and also a greater quantity of hot girls. Both versions of more attractive, they're showing you more attractive and more attractive girls. So they're going to cater to that, right? They're going to make sure that when you match with a girl, that you're put closer to the top of their queue, right? Imagine a female fitness model or something like that on Tinder. How many guys do you think are swiping left on her? Probably not that many. And even if it's a few, how many guys do you think are swiping right? Tons and tons and tons, right? That girl could swipe all day if she's being shown to guys regularly, and every single match, right? So she doesn't need, she's not going to see every guy. She's not going to see every guy who swipes on her. And in fact, the algorithm doesn't want her to. The algorithm doesn't want that girl that's getting matched with all these hot guys to be dealing with a bunch of scrubs and being like, swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. They want her to be happy because she stays on the site. She keeps guys happy and keeps the hottest of the user base of guys and the best paying of the user base of guys staying on the site and thinking about how hot the girls on the site are. Okay, so the point is, the algorithm is designed to make it worth it. That's what I'm basically saying here, right? The company design is they get paid by people who pay. So they want to make it worth it for those people to pay. If it's not worth it, people stop paying, right? They're just catering to their customers. And the point is they're probably going to cater to you if you are their customer. Now, should you pay blindly? Should you pay always? No. I'd recommend testing any individual thing, right? If it's relatively inexpensive, just go ahead and test it, see if it works. If it doesn't make a significant difference, feel free to drop it, but a lot of them will. For specifically, Tinder Gold does make a huge difference, although lately, because Tinder is a business, now Tinder Gold's not anything, now there's Tinder Platinum, and now if you really want to get seen by the hottest girls, you have to do Tinder Platinum, right? So they've made it even harder. This is like when clubs started charging cover, then they started having bottle service, then they started having bottle service in the best areas, then they have having bottle service and bringing girls to your table. They find ways to cater to their highest paying customers. And there is a limit. There's a point where it's gone too far and it's just not worth it anymore because it's just prohibitive or it's just stupid. But in general, it is largely worth it in a lot of cases. So is Tinder Gold worth it? It used to be. Now I don't even know if it is because of the existence of Tinder Platinum, but Tinder Platinum definitely is worth it, I can say from experience. Are boosts worth it? Absolutely, yes, they are. Although, as an experiment, I probably should do a little bit more, but it's worth noting if you have platinum, how much of a difference boosting or not boosting does make. I think it still makes a difference. It makes sense that it would make a difference. But in theory, I think part of the promise of platinum is they're going to show you to every girl that you do match with. So in theory, you're being at least put in her queue. But I think the boost puts you towards the top of the queue. So I think it's probably still worth it. But again, try it. Try with boost, try without boost. It's very easy for like $4 or whatever. You'll find out very, very quickly if it works. So I do recommend trying it. On a lot of the sites, something you can pay for is the ability to write to unlimited members or match with unlimited members. That one is absolutely worth it in almost every case. Having the ability to control your own fate and choose who you match with and choose who you message with instead of waiting for the algorithm to pick for you is massive. In fact, one of the main reasons why you might go on a site other than a Tinder, why you might go on a Match.com, is let's say a girl is 21 and I walk up to her on the street and I'm a handsome, charming, charismatic 38-year-old. I have no problem whatsoever picking that girl up. But, and let's say that I were to like get, swipe on a girl on Tinder and she gets shown my profile and I have attractive photos, I have an attractive profile. There's absolutely no reason why in many, many cases she wouldn't swipe on me as well. However, on those apps, I might get filtered out before she ever sees my profile because maybe she sets her age range to maximum 29. And then all of a sudden I never see her. Even though if I were to see her, if she were to see me, we'd both find each other attractive and things would work out. But we're being held back by the choices in the algorithm. And that's a problem. However, on a site like, for example, a Match.com, you can search and you can message and you can wink at these girls without the algorithm selecting you. And so if you would be sort of siphoned out by the algorithm because the girl's younger or she's looking for a guy of a particular height or particular ethnicity, whatever, you can still get matched with her on these sites where the match is more of your own volition. However, on those sites, oftentimes you do have to pay to be able to message girls, and it's probably worth it in that case. Okay, so that's another one that might well be worth it. But every site has these different things. Think about them, right? Every feature is going to have, here's what it does. If it makes sense to you, that feature could work. What I recommend is just, bite the bullet and try it one time. Usually it's $5 to try, $10 to try, something like that. Try it one time. If it works, it could multiply your dating life. How much is that worth, right? If you're getting 1 date a week and suddenly you're getting 3 dates a week, how much is that worth? I bet that was worth $10 or the $20 a month or whatever the heck it was. Okay, so I do recommend it. Now, one caveat to a lot of these things. Most of these things are multipliers, right? And that sounds good, right? Multiplier is good. Multiplying your results is good. The only problem is, what if your results are 0? What happens if you multiply 1,000,000 by 0? Oh yeah, you still get 0. Okay, so all these multipliers, they only work if you're already getting some kind of a result anyway. So what I actually recommend when you're starting out on a site and you're trying to figure out the profile is, but try it out and see if you're getting at least some matches, even if they're not that attractive, even if there's not a ton of them. Make sure you're getting at least some matches without paying. And if you're getting some matches without paying, then consider paying. If you're getting no matches or it's just completely awful without paying on a site, it may be that the site itself just kind of sucks, right? Because there are a lot of sites out there. Some are really good, some are not so good. So understand that it's a multiplier, and multipliers are very, very worthwhile if your time is valuable and if you like getting hotter girls and having hotter dates. Very valuable to multiply, but make sure you're not multiplying 0. So my recommendation is get it to where you're getting more than 0 before you try these things. My other recommendation is by all means try them. absolutely try these things. A lot of them are very worth it. Why? Because economically, the site is designed to make it worth it for you. If it wasn't, it wouldn't exist, or they'd have to, switch it out for another feature that actually would have some sustainability and people would stay with. It probably is good in a lot of cases, but try it for yourself. The proof of anything in game, and there will always be new things, right? Right now it's Tinder and Tinder Platinum. There may be some other new site next week and they have a different feature that you've never seen before. Is that worth it? Likely, if their algorithm's good, maybe, but try it. If you try it and you don't get results, who cares what the theory says? Who cares what I say? The ultimate proof in game is your own testing. And actually, in online game especially, testing is absolutely the king. If there's one lesson I could hammer home to anybody in online game, it's this. Test some more, tweak, change, test, and test some more, right? So yeah, if you have something that's working, go with it and try a little tweak and see if you can make it work better. And if that works better, swap it out. And then try another thing. If that works better, swap it out. If it works worse, get rid of it. One thing I actually really recommend in general, if you possibly can, is try and have multiple profiles. You can do this by just having profiles on different sites, and you try one thing on this site, and if it works, you try it on your other profiles on other sites. That's what I usually do. You can even test in cities you're not in, so that you're not cross-referencing and not polluting the pond, so to speak, but you can test different ideas out. And I do highly recommend test. And the proof is not what I say. The proof is not that in theory the algorithm works. The proof is, does it work for you? So I recommend trying these things because logically they should work and it makes sense they would work. But understand what you're trying and why you're trying it. And definitely if it's not working, cut it. Don't keep doing what's not working. That's the definition of insanity. So thanks again for those questions, guys. Obviously, getting hotter girls online is a priority, and obviously knowing what's worth paying for, what's not worth paying for, and what things can multiply results. Because again, multiplier of anything greater than 0 is probably well worth it in many, many cases. So hopefully that helps you guys out. Again, if you want your questions on here, send them to questions@toddvdating.com, or if you're on YouTube, put them in the questions, and that is where I do get my material from. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. I do appreciate it, and I will see you on the next one. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you're into online dating, I want to let you know I've just released my brand new messaging guide. This is basically everything you need to know how to message a girl from online dating or frankly anywhere. What to send in the first message, how to go from message to phone number, how to go from phone number to date, every step along the way. Check it out at the link below. I think you're going to love it.